All right, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and this is your weekend's video. I honestly don't have much to say apart from continuing on with this theme, okay? I am extremely bullish into the end of this year, but the song remains the same. Be careful in the short term, which is now probably 2.5 weeks' time until we find those cycle lows. We will probably see a cycle low around the 18th of October, give or take a couple of days, but any bounce in the meantime is likely to be counter trend until those cycle lows show up. So until then, patience is again the order of the day. There are plenty of reasons to be bearish out there. Like, for example, the losses on the US Treasuries are now north of $1.5 trillion. Okay, so there's plenty of reasons to be bearish. And what do we know from this sort of thing? Well, what we know for sure is that fiat currency debasement is mathematically guaranteed. The bank term funding program is again going to have to come to the rescue. And we are once more going to see more QE that identifies as a loan program. Amidst a sea of bearishness out there, amidst the standard template of 1 million reasons or more to be bearish, let's do what we always do on this channel, which is keep an eye on the data. The data says the SPY has made lower intraday lows for 9 days in a row, but this ended yesterday, which could be a sign of a major flush, or perhaps there's more downside to come. But despite this small sample size, it's important to ask a couple of questions. What was the SPY like 6 months later and 12 months later? And of course the answer is up 18% and 30.9% respectively. So I've been saying again, a lot of people getting excited about these bounces, and I was warning you, probably don't do that just yet. But data is on our side that 6 and 12 months out, the market's going to be a lot higher. I still think, like I keep saying over and over again, the end of the year rally is going to be glorious. I posted on Twitter and in the YouTube community tab yesterday that I took a XRP position. I can only apologize for not calling this out ahead of time, but so far it's not doing that great. But I wanted some exposure here because I think we're at least going to make a run up to the top of this downward sloping pink resistance line. Anyway, let's get into the charts and do the TA for the week ahead, right? So the dollar is currently rejected, but kind of still holding in this major blue box zone. We are looking to see it break down, but given that we've got cycle lows not due for 2.5-ish weeks, maybe 3 weeks, then it's possible that we've probably got another 2.5 weeks of this, right? This could certainly occur before we get that breakdown. But I do believe once we find the cycle lows, we are going to see the dollar break down and we're going to get that risk on moment into the end of the year. So the song remains the same. Hopping into the equity charts, you can see, you know, patience seems to be working, right? Those cycle lows will show up. There's always a chance that that is the low and we get a higher low show up. But that would be like the most bullish case. And in the bearish case, we're probably going to come all the way down here. I don't think that's going to happen. But either way, I am waiting patiently for the cycle lows. And that still seems to be a good shout, given that we've had this big red candle right here for the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones as well, you can see, still probably doing nothing out of the ordinary. And the VIX, whilst we got a pullback, I've marked this as the date on the VIX. This is not indicative of price, but this is indicative of the date when the cycle low is due. So do we get some kind of move up into that date before then the VIX gets crushed right around the 17th of October? I would think so. Russell 2K still probably wants to do this before it can go again, right? So zoom out a bit so we can get some context. Nothing really out of the ordinary here, is there? The UKX is still trolling me, as you can see, but we haven't closed daily candles below the yellow breakout level, so we'll keep pushing this long and see what happens. Oil, after breakdown, retest, now looking for that resumption and right around break even. So again, short and strong, see what the market can give. Gold breaking down. So I wonder if this is the capitulative flush before then we reverse and finally break this trend line. It's probably going to occur from lower down. Maybe it's going to look something more like this. And Bitcoin, look, notice how Bitcoin still hasn't triggered this breakout, right? It still hasn't cleared the local high cluster from back here. So this speaks to a rollover into that cycle low. And again, the song remains the same. Patience. What's interesting about this is if I hop into the crypto related equities, look at this, right? Rejection at resistance. Now, it could certainly break out next week. And if it does, we'll respect the breakout. But for now, rejection at resistance. Same deal for Riot and the same deal for Marathon, right? Rejection across the board. So this tells me that we have got a very nice setup coming out of that 60-day cycle low for Bitcoin, which is, of course, right around the timing window the stock market should bottom. And I think that sets us up for a big risk-on moment into the end of the year, as I've been saying over and over again. Unfortunately, there's not much else to say, right? There really isn't. That XRP trade I was talking about is sat at a little bit of loss, but that's okay because the target's way up. I don't have a great deal of technical reason for taking this trade, so we have indeed got this breakout, right? arguably breakout, possible retest, looking for that resumption. We could also, if I draw your eyes to this downward sloping red resistance line, we've also got this breakout retest, looking for resumption. But to me, this price structure is curling up and is going that way. So experience in the market tells me that sometimes I'm going to take a discretionary trade, and this is one of them. And I do think this is setting up for a nice pump. Now, that is by no means me shilling XRP. That is by no means me suggest you take this trade. This is just full transparency. I took this trade out of pocket, and we'll see what happens from there. So other than that, I have nothing to report really, I'm afraid, and a little bit of patience will probably go a long way. Have we got a 10-year breakdown on the yield? Not yet. So again, could still see some pressure until we find those cycle lows. And then as always, it's going to get very, very bullish into the end of the year. I'm your boy Camel. I hope you have a great weekend. And in the meantime, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.